Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here, and if you didn't know already, Akira Toriyama actually had a message for Dragon Ball Kakarot. I think kind of slipped under most people's radar, but it's actually quite important. Now, by the words of Akira Toriyama, he says Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is an action RPG full of the Dragon Ball universe, includes backstories that haven't been told in the manga, and I'm sure fans will truly be able to take a deep dive into the world. It's a fresh new take on the franchise as you relive moments where Goku discovers the Saiyan bloodline and birth named Kakarot. Experience the battles as they grow to become more and more unrelenting and fierce through cutting-edge game visuals. I hope you enjoy the game. Akira Toriyama. Now, this is actually pretty interesting for several reasons, but at the same time, it could actually bite a few of us in the butt who already enjoy Dragon Ball's canon story. Now, again, they said this will add to the story, or stories that haven't been told in the manga, which means things that obviously Akira Toriyama thought of later, or ideas that he, didn't get to fully explore. The benefits to this is that we'll actually, because Akira Toriyama does state the reason why Goten and Trunks don't have tails is that he forgot. I like to believe that obviously the respective parents just cut off the tails at their earlier stages because you don't want a great ape running around every single time it becomes night. That would be troublesome, so I can completely excuse that one. But I'm assuming he'll actually give backstories to things that he forgot. A good example is Launch, because she's actually in this game. Which means he must have remembered her at some point, and maybe she'll do a tiny bit more in the story. Who knows, we'll never know. The bigger things that this will obviously explore is a good example, or a good reason I think that they've only been showing the Saiyan Saga and the Frieza Saga for gameplay so far, is that the Saiyan Saga and the Frieza Saga are kind of perfect in terms of, what they already explore. They make sense to everything that's already in the universe. They kind of add and don't really take much away. But after the Frieza Saga, it's just like Goku beats up Frieza, then randomly Dr. Gero suddenly now wants his revenge of all times and builds androids. Not just 2 androids, but 3 androids. But not just 3 androids. He turned himself into an android and another fat guy into an android. But not just those guys, he made a bio-android from the future that goes to the past to absorb the other androids he made in the present. It's like, what? So I think mostly Kakarot is going to actually fix the parts of the story that just don't make any actual sense. A good reason is, the Saiyan Saga and the Frieza Saga transition into each other perfectly. We already know who Frieza is because the first episode shows him destroying Planet Vegeta, and then later when Vegeta and Nappa come by, they're like, oh yeah, we work for Frieza. But that's not really important right now, is it? And then it becomes important later, because they need to go get the Namekian Dragon Balls, and it turns out Frieza just happens to be visiting Namek for the exact same reason, the Namekian Dragon Balls. And it ties into each other perfectly. Frieza knows who Vegeta is, all the characters know who each other are. Then randomly, Goku just dies. And then, oh look, Cell exists. Well, not that Goku dies, he disappears to go learn instant transmission. And then Cell exists. And then after Cell dies to Gohan, it's just like, oh look, Bobbidi is here to revive Majin Buu. And he brought Dabura. Dabura is like the strongest person in the Dragon Ball series before Buu. He's stronger than Cell and Frieza. Where was he? What were they doing? It's like, come on. It's like, yeah, I think those are the kind of the parts of the story he's going to try and fix. Akira Toriyama does keep a close eye on, Dragon Ball. Obviously, he's not going to have, media accounts because I'm pretty sure he knows what the internet is like. He's just going to get harassed 24/7. But does keep a close eye on Dragon Ball and what the people say about Dragon Ball. So I think he's doing his best to actually recreate the story. Of course, you could just say, well, why don't they just make another anime? I'm pretty sure people are only excited to see new transformations and all these other weird things. So if they tried to make, a remake of Z, it probably wouldn't go so well because people were just going to be like, oh, where's my Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct times Kaioken? So, yeah, it's just easier to make a game. And considering especially how good Dragon Ball games do nowadays, that majority of people would get the story. And if they don't, they'll just go on YouTube to see their favorite creator say, hey, so guys, this time in the Frieza Saga, Goku actually goes Ultra Instinct. And then, they'll just learn it from that. Now, again, obviously it's a Z game. Not a Super game, but I still heavily expect Super to be DLC for this because it's like, why not? They could make a Dragon Ball Super Kakarot, but they might be pushing the envelope by that point because who knows how long that game will take to make. So it's probably easier if they just make DLC for this one because the gameplay in this one seems extremely satisfying, and thankfully Akira does say that the battles will grow harder, which, we're all expecting, to be honest. I think every Dragon Ball game does follow the levels of everything is easy at first, and then there's always that one stage that's infamous for being hard. I can't think of every Dragon Ball Z game off the top of my head, but I'm sure a few of you guys know Budokai 1's minigames are trying to put Raditz inside the Special Beam Cannon. Then you have, Budokai Freeze inside the Super Boost level where your health drains rapidly, and he just, how about this? Just, come on. You also have the stages in Budokai 2 where Buhan is an absolute nightmare unless if you know to fuse Goku and Vegeta into Vegito, which, to be fair, I actually didn't know. I just assumed the game would make me Vegeta when the time came, so I kind of lost in that a lot. You have the really hard stages from Tenkaichi where you do like no damage to your enemy. An example being that they have super armor in some stages where they just don't take any damage and you have to wait until it gets to a certain part of the fight where you can do damage to them. I don't think the same thing will happen in Kakarot. I think Kakarot will do a similar thing to Xenoverse, obviously, where the enemy is just kind of strong, and then if you go into the next phase, then they'll actually be much harder, or you know, they'll be much easier to, I don't know. You know what I mean, like in the Frieza saga, like you shouldn't really be able to do damage to Final Form Frieza, but you can. It's just a bit tough at that point in the game. So I'm glad to say that Akira said that there are going to be challenges, or it's going to get harder as it goes on, because maybe I'm just a moron, but I kind of enjoy my games with some difficulty behind it, with actual difficulty behind it, not just, oh look, it's hard because it's broken. And yes, just to remind, obviously Frieza saga is not the end of Dragon Ball Kakarot. Like, Dragon Ball is a story we're already fully aware of, and we already know that the sagas after that, so it would make no sense for them to be showing us the technical end of the game in all of their trailers, when we already know that there's something that goes past that. Because it's not like Dragon Ball's a new form of media. If it was like a new game, then we wouldn't even be asking if the Frieza saga is the last saga. We would just think that's some random boss in between. So yes, obviously the Frieza saga is not the end of. I don't know why anyone thinks that Frieza saga would be where they'd end the game. If it's a game where you only get to play as Goku, I'm not saying it is. But if it's a game where you only get to play as Goku and the Frieza saga was the end, that means there'd be like maybe 4 to 5 fights, and then the whole game is over. Not only have they showed us a teaser image of Cell and Buu, but if you check in one of the trailers, they actually do show the Orange City that Piccolo visits when he goes to see First Form Cell. I wouldn't really say see him, but goes to fight him. Then you will know that yes, obviously there are other sagas, they're just in the works at the moment. So again, it's like, just calm down, it's not going to end at the Frieza saga. Considering the game is called Kakarot, they do say that Goku will discover his bloodline and birth the name Kakarot. Most of that will probably happen in the Saiyan saga. I'm assuming the Saiyan saga will try and integrate more of Dragon Ball Super Broly's version of the way the Saiyans were like before, you know what I mean? Again, we saw that Nappa and Vegeta's armors are still exactly the same, even though the Frieza Force does have a new style of armor. But I'm okay with that. It's not like they need to change them. But I'm assuming Vegeta will try and reference at least some of the events in Dragon Ball Super Broly more. Then again, Vegeta only did find out Planet Vegeta was destroyed when Dodoria told him, but they might change that because it's a bit weird that they would honestly believe a planet would be destroyed by one meteor. So again, we'll see how much of Dragon Ball Super Broly gets integrated into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Dragon Ball Super Broly, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they're getting out of hand with these names. It's just gonna be the title and some other, wait, yeah, maybe Dragon Ball Vegeta is a possibility now. New stories that haven't been told in the manga, that's completely fine. I would like to know a few more bits about certain characters anyways, because obviously if we're going to add or make things make more sense. But I would like to know more about the manga stuff, because for those of you guys who don't know, in the Dragon Ball Super manga recently they revealed that Majin Buu, or Kid Buu, possibly both of them, might have had God Ki, and some people might call that an ass pull, but I find it okay, because Dragon Ball Z already made it seem like Majin Buu was kind of weird. The reason that he might have God Ki is because he absorbed the Grand Elder Kai, or, you know, the fat one, and Kais are gods, so it would make sense later that when they're fighting Majin Buu and Kid Buu, they're like, hey, his energy is weird, I can't really sense it, but I kind of know he's strong. The same way every single time they fight a god in Dragon Ball Super, they're like, I can't really sense his energy, but it's definitely, something's wrong with it. More evidence to back this up is that Dende freaks out when he senses Beerus's ki, and he's like, oh, he's a god. The same thing actually happened to Dragon Ball Z when Dende sensed Kid Buu's ki. He was like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's, you know, that's some insane ki. And before people ask, wait, why could they sense Super Buu's ki? It's because he kept absorbing people, which I'm assuming gave him a natural ki. I mean, if you absorb the Super Saiyan 3 fusion, and then a Namekian, and then a guy who was actually stronger than you, then it would probably be greater than whatever ki that you had before. So again, lots of interesting lore stuff being added. I can't wait to see all of it, because I feel like a lot of this stuff might have been things that he might have wanted to include in Dragon Ball Super Broly, considering we know there was a lot of cut footage from Broly that we never actually got to see. I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong when I'm guessing this, but wasn't there like 40 something minutes or some, there was a lot of stuff that they cut out of the movie that we didn't get to see. So, who knows, maybe we'll see some of that Broly stuff in this game, because that would add to the same lore, considering Dragon Ball Super Broly kind of mixed up quite a bit anyways. Dragon Ball Super Broly did also justify Goku, you know, taking damage from banging his head on a rock, because he was underdeveloped in his pod. He wasn't like a complete, like, you know, a kid, if you want to say that. So his head obviously wouldn't have been as hard as the average Saiyan, because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, a Vegeta of that age would have probably smashed the rock to pieces and suffered no brain damage and then just took over Earth. But again, Akira Toriyama's messages open up a world, or as he says, a universe full of possibilities for Dragon Ball. And I would like to see some of these. I'm kind of hoping there's more changes than less, to be honest, because maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't want to play through the whole, oh look, after you beat Frieza you fight the androids, and then the androids themselves, and like, you know, we've been through that story before, and I would like some change in it, especially because the Cell Saga, in my opinion, is the weakest one. I know a lot of people hate the Buu Saga, but I actually like the Cell Saga the least. Its shining moment is Goku's sacrifice and Gohan's Kamehameha, and that happens at the very end, so it's not worth remembering anything before that. So again, guys, do let me know what you think in the video about any of the questions I asked. Obviously, just ask a question on anything, because I will try to get back to you the best of my ability. Please also do leave a like on the video, because it does genuinely help me as a creator. It gets my video out there in the algorithm, and it also lets me know that you guys actually enjoyed what you saw and it wasn't just me throwing out a video guessing if people would like it or not. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Peace.